terrorists are not afraid of the Nigerian military. They know that they can operate 3-4 hours in a certain space and no help will come for those people.
Joining us this morning again as we start this brand new week is Jojo Moses. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Onome. Good morning.
Yeah, hope you had a great weekend.
Well, it's just there.
Yeah. Well, it was an eventful weekend. Let's start with one of the events we actually, been making headlines yesterday up until today. Not good news once more. Insecurity in Nigeria once more takes, its flashpoints. This time in Niger State, a particular community right there, the market was raided. About 42 persons were killed, which was the lead story coming through from the Vanguard that Ini just read. And after that happened, people were also kidnapped in that community. But the president has now come out to charge people to go, the security officials, go out there and catch these people. We hear this a lot of time. Go out there, bring them to book, warn them and all of this. But in light of the recent, United States assaults on some terrorist base right there in Sokoto that we thought, maybe good news coming through from the future, there's some more bad news coming. Now, you wonder exactly whether we're actually recording any victory against these bandits or terrorists in Nigeria.
So if I was to understand something, this same group, because it's the same community that the Niger students were kidnapped from. In fact, some of those students were re-kidnapped during this operation. So, and I recall when people were saying, stop negotiating with terrorists. They negotiated and got those other students back.
Yeah.
So by just putting 2 and 2 together, you'd or just come to the conclusion that the monies that were paid or whatever resources that were given to these people emboldened them to be able to do this attack. Now also I watched some videos of this attack. A lot of these men were tied, their hands were tied behind their backs and then they were executed or not or something. So it is not a 2 minutes or 10 minutes operation. Now, what is our emergency response time across this country? If something happens here today, even if the police station is next door to you, fire station is next door to you, it will still take them another 1 hour, 30 minutes to come. Because this is a community that's a flashpoint. We recall the stories that surrounded them the first time when we got intelligence that they were going to attack the school. And then the army came and the army left.
Yeah.
So you would think that there'll be some sort of preparation for any recurrent attack, knowing that this is a volatile area, that anything can happen, and some sort of outpost, some sort of military response, some sort of sensitization for the citizens on how they will prepare themselves. If you go to American schools, because of school shooters, they do drills in schools, right? Where students and pupils are taught, okay, if you hear this kind of sound, this is what you do, this is how. Why none of these things are done in any of our communities? And security will take ages and years to respond. Is it that we've not mapped out this possible enclave of terrorists? Because if they are repeatedly attacking this community, it means that they have a base somewhere close where they can just come in and then exit. And people can't stop living their lives because of threat of death. People need to go to the market, they need to eat, they need to go to the farms. And I said one time that the test of this government fight against this whole insecurity, both with the American intervention, is if people can return to their livelihood and their homes. We've not seen any IDP camp emptied. We've not seen farmers going back in. In fact, recently, one of these communities, I can't remember, an American is coming there to build houses for them. I think he has said he has spent almost 90 million naira to rebuild houses, markets, places of worship. Is this not an indictment on us as a government, as a people, where a foreigner is coming to, I'm not saying help is not welcome. Anywhere we can get help, but we've not even mobilized to help our fellow countrymen. The government has not mobilized to say they have a local government, let's not forget, that receives monthly allocation. They have a state government, they have a House of Reps member, and that constituency have senators, including this Niger State community. So you would think that the conversation will be deeper. Because somebody would chalk it down to, this is the last kick of a dying horse. We suspected after the American bombardment, they will do this. Should you not have prepared for it? So if you know that they are going to react after this whole, shouldn't we have done something, or maybe armed the people, or get some vigilantes, or just move things from less If you go to the cities, you have most of the security outposts and the people. Why don't we redeploy? Because the president is saying he's charging DSS, charging this one, charging. How many times are we charging all these people? You know, the other time they said former minister of defense should go to Zamfara and stay. The man did not even do 2 days there. He ran back to Abuja. You know, that's what we just see. You leave your office in Abuja, go there. It doesn't translate to anything tangible on ground. People will still be killed, slow response time, because if these people know that they will be, you know, tackled. I'm not saying that the military is not doing enough, because recently too, over the last weekend, the military lost a couple of its men during some attacks. I think same Niger state or one other state. But we need to give these people the impression that, you know what, is not business as usual. The idea of negotiating with these people should not have come up in the first place, because these are the same people we empowered that are now, you know, unleashing terror on, you know, communities that just want to live their lives. So it's time, like I always say, America is helping you. America is helping you. To what end? America will not be in all the theaters of war. They will just pick certain strategic locations and bomb them. But it's up to us to track movement, real-time intelligence. Because it feels like there's no real-time intelligence on ground. I don't know what the DSS is actually doing. You know, because I said one time when they came out to say, oh, we are warning these people that attacks will happen. I'm like, this is just you doing media sensationalism. You know, security is not media sensationalism. It's quiet. These people will not even know what hit them. Look at what happened in Venezuela. The president didn't know what hit them. So by the time we put fear, because obviously these terrorists are not afraid of the Nigerian military. They know that they can operate 3-4 hours in a certain space and no help will come for those people. So we need to start changing this narrative in our system. All these areas, I know Niger State has a very large landmass. But if you map it properly, you have good area surveillance to track movement of maybe these terrorists, and immediately you can easily mobilize and start responding.
All right, sorry. Away from the government now, you know, for certain tactical security measures to fight insecurity in our country. Now, let's come down to the people. What sensitization do they need to actually help in tackling insecurity for the people of Niger State? What do you think would have helped them? Is it by arming them? Is it by letting them know how to quickly respond when, you know, such incident happened?
Well, because of survival instinct, I would say arming them is not in our best interest, because when you put guns in people's hands, you can't take it out anymore. You know, it has a sense of security attached to it, and if you want to take it out, you become part of the enemy. The thing is, we have tried in this country, and we are trying as citizens. You provide your own power, provide your own water, you provide almost everything. Now they're asking us to provide our own security. It's tiring. And a lot of this thing boils down to the crippling of the Nigerian police force. Let's understand that the first line of defense for any citizen is the police. Before the army steps in or the military steps in into any form of insecurity, is because it has, you know, transcended what the police can deal with. But go and look at our police stations. Many police outposts do not have guns and proper weapon armory system. Many police officers do not even have the right training to combat some of these people. You have in the Nigerian police force, you have the mobile police unit, you know, that's supposed to be like a military wing of the police. Where are we seeing them? VIPs, even with the ban that the president has put in place against all these things. Because we can't keep asking citizens even if you arm with a citizen, is with Dane gun. Have we seen the weapons that the terrorists are using? You can't fight that. You can't match that in any form of battle. So it means that this whole thing boils down to the contract we signed with the government. We give you X amount of our freedom and our monies, our resources. You protect us. You give us security, you know. And I will always say this, our level of intellect when it comes to the discussions in Nigeria, implementations and planning is very low in this country. You would think that we've been fighting this thing for years. We would have had a blueprint for approaching this. It's one thing for maybe an IED attack or this, but for a terrorist group to mobilize into a community, go in, slaughter 40-something people and abduct, and we don't know how many yet.
Yeah.
So that means they have a group of people that they are moving in large, you know, numbers. So it means that you can track them. If something that happened on Saturday, today is Monday, we've not even had any inkling. Now with the abducted people, what's going to happen? They will pay ransom. They will be released, or the government will pay on their behalf. They will be negotiated with and they will be released. So these are the issues. So as a citizen, what do you now expect me to do? Which is why you find communities having agreements with bandits to say, okay, don't attack us. We pay you this stipend monthly. Now in some communities, for you to go to the farm, you have to pay terrorists. Not just in cash, in produce. So after you harvest, you divide it maybe into 3, take 2 to the market, give them 1/4 of what you have harvested. This is how powerful they've become, because the Nigerian state has shirked its responsibility to the people. So if you're not providing security for yourself, water for yourself, because let's not forget, what exactly does the government do for these people? It's not road.
Yeah.
Neither is it security. It's not power either. So what do they do exactly? And we can't keep carrying that burden.
Still talking about the people, you talked about how, these people move in large formations, especially when they go for these raids or attacks. And you wonder that maybe at this point in time, there needs to be somewhere that people should be involved in the security process. What I'm trying to say is this: at what point do we bring up a mechanism where these people can easily alert security operatives when they see these people moving between communities? Or do we have that presently, or do we need to institute that in place where the people can also help this?
Clearly the security forces get information. Let's not forget, maybe in certain families, you have somebody who's a police officer, you have somebody who's a military officer. So something is happening. See what's going on. The problem has always been the response time and the quality of response. Either I grew up in a time when sometimes armed robbers will attack a full street and will call the police. The police will call maybe 30 or 1 hour after the robbery has come. Yeah. And if they see you outside, they will arrest you. Suddenly you become the robber. These are the realities we deal with in Nigeria. Nobody investigates anything in Nigeria. These deaths have been chalked down to the will of God. That is what it has just gotten down to, So, for instance, we have not crippled the mobilization tools of these people. How do they move? Bikes. How do the bikes get into their communities? You start tracking it down, because if they can't move, you've already taken something away from their modus operandi. How do the weapons get to them? This is where you start tracking the sponsors and whoever supplies, these weapons and all that, because they will need bullets to be able to do what they are doing. You get? So we need to just be proactive instead of saying, the citizens. We are doing too much. If something happens here now, I can assure you, calls will be made. A building collapsed or something happened in Lagos here. For how many days were they rescued? This is the country we live in. The Minister of Interior went to fire service station in Abuja, and they went for an operation in the night before. The next month, they didn't put water in the fire vehicle. And they were looking at the man when he was shouting as if he was not making sense. Because that is what we have been programmed to do. Anybody demanding for the right things to be done is seen as a wicked person, is seen as somebody who doesn't care. And let's not even blame the military. Like I said before, some of them have tried to fight these battles and ended up in jail for it. Yeah. So we need to see our new chief of defense staff, because he has been doing a whole lot of press interviews on how God helped him to get the position. God has helped you. Go and do your job. Map out this country properly. Execute the operations you need to quietly. We don't even need to be hearing anything. Any government that is making noise about what it is doing is not doing anything. You're just buying space on billboard and newspapers.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joshua, for your analysis.